Yeah, the league is super competitive. There's a ton of parity this year, top to bottom. I mean, you look at Oregon State on their road trip to our place in Colorado, and the scores and the discrepancy, and then they come back and sweep the Arizona schools right at home, and I just think that's a small microcosm of our league this year. And I think I saw in preparation for Colorado, I think I saw on one of the broadcasts. The road teams have won 22% of the time in league play. And so it's proven in our league this year. Every year it is, but especially this year and all around the country, winning on the road has been incredibly difficult. But just watching the whole league now and I've seen everybody play, I mean, there's just a lot of really good teams. And any given night, there's a lot of really good players. When you look at when you follow the mock drafts, right, there's a lot of Pac-12 players projected to go in the first two rounds of the NBA draft this year, including with Colorado. I mean, there's the last mock draft I saw 2 days ago, 3 of Colorado's guys are projected to go in the first round. So there's a lot of star power. There's a lot of really, really good players. And on any given night, those players can put a team on their back and lead them to victory.
When it comes to one of the things that you've harped on is you talk about eliminating losing to win, especially on the road.
Yep.
And, toughness is a part of that equation.
Sure it is. It's the biggest part.
Yeah. I mean, how do you fine-tune kind of that toughness and mentality, knowing the situation where the road has just been such a difficulty?
Yeah, I mean, we've had to deal with so winning on the road, right? I've said it on the record many times. You got to eliminate losing to win. And that's a short way of saying fundamental basketball. Our teams have always been very fundamental. And in this team, I don't think is any different, but let's be real here too. We've been throwing some curveballs here. The day of the Stanford game, we find out Raleigh's not going to play. Lawson gets hurt 3 minutes into the game. Nobody wants to hear about injuries. I understand that, right? But it does have an effect on your team. And so played really well at home the next 2 games, and obviously it was a tough trip for us in a lot of different ways. And Davon gets hurt 10 minutes into the game, against Washington State. But it's been a little bit of everything that way. The Washington game obviously got ugly. I thought our front line really competed hard. I thought our guys played with a lot of physicality and had a great presence to them and did some things well. But our backcourt needed to play a lot better. We had a lot of breakdowns guarding the ball, lack of communication, screen roll defense. And so, one thing we told our guys this week is when it's time to run, you got to run. When it's time to run hard, you got to run hard, right? And that's just a little bit of a metaphor. And so this week in practice, it's really been, it's the bye week, or you only have one game, so we've had a little more practice time, a little more time to recover, kind of as you start getting into the dog days here a little bit. But we're doing things till you can't get it wrong, meaning like in our drill work and in our scheme, we've really dialed it back and tried to simplify. Because I think with some of these guys that haven't played a lot of minutes, and then some of these guys that don't have a lot of experience in our system, I just think we've had to take a step back and simplify. And when you do that, hopefully your legs speed up, right? Your anticipation speeds up, and you're not overthinking while you're on the floor. And hopefully that'll lead to more toughness and more physicality with what we're doing.
I mean, timing-wise, as far as the quote-unquote bye week, it feels like it's kind of a good time for you right now to be able to have not just teachable moments with these guys, but injury-wise as well, to be able to have just a little bit of extra time there.
No doubt. Our sports science team does a lot, does a great job, and we track our guys' workload, their load management, and I think we do a very good job of staying with that, while at the same time, you got to work till your work gets done, right? And so like a farmer, when you start harvesting, there's no such thing as a clock. You just got to get it done. And so you got to be bright about that. But I do think it was a good time. Now, at the same time, Colorado, I truly believe, is playing their best basketball of the year. They've come in winning 4 out of 5 with their one loss at Washington State, who's playing really good basketball right now. So, it hopefully gives some of our guys more time to heal and recover. It gives us time on the floor to teach, to correct, to hone in to what we're trying to do. I mean, obviously we always try to do that, but we have to overlearn some things because clearly we're not always getting it done with the consistency that we need to get it done with. And going back to the eliminating losing part, we just got to be tougher and tighter with some of the stuff that we're doing. So, you're going to get 2 of these weeks throughout the year, and this is our first one, and hopefully we can kind of hit reset a little bit. That stuff happens, though. You get the ebbs and flow of a 5.5 month, 6 month season. Right? You go on the road in the Pac-12. It's hard. It's very difficult, and so there's ups in the seasons, there's down in the seasons, and you got to be able to remain, even keel and keep on fighting. And I feel like our guys have done a good job with that this week.
Just kind of what's the latest on Raleigh and Lawson injury-wise?
Yeah.
Kind of what's it looking like right now?
They're both still out. Lawson's definitely further ahead than Raleigh. I don't anticipate Raleigh playing, anytime soon. But we'll see. That stuff can change. I always good athletes are quick healers compared to the rest of us. And then Lawson's making good progress. I would be surprised if he plays this weekend, but you never know how everything works out that way. But he is. You can start to see like some tangible progress, right, with his recovery. So we'll just see how this thing plays out. But hopefully we're going to be able to get him in the not too distant future. But I don't have an exact timetable at this point.
You've talked about Colorado a little bit, just how well they're playing right now. I mean, what particular challenges do they present? I mean, they've got a really incredible guard.
They're very, very good, and that's not lip service. First of all, Tad Boyle's an excellent coach. Guy's been in this league for a long time, has a great track record. Their teams are always tough. Even last year, I think they finished under 500 in the league, but they were just tough-minded in every way, shape, and form. They're very, very well coached. And then this is a really, really talented team. And, they like us, have had to deal with some injuries. A few weeks ago, they lost 3 in a row in league, Arizona State, at Cal. But some of those guys were out. Cody Williams was out. Tristan Da Silva was out. But now they're all back, and they're really hitting their stride. And there's not much they don't have on their team. They have elite playmaking ability off the bounce. All those guys can shoot it, pass it, score it. They're pretty much all 3-level scorers. They do a great job. And then they have the big fellow who we're very familiar with, who transferred in from TCU. They're starting 5-man. He's a monster of a man, super physical and rugged. And so they have a lot of versatility. They can play a lot of ways. And, Tristan Da Silva, Cody Williams, a true freshman, projected to be, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th pick in the NBA draft this year. And KJ Simpson, arguably could be the MVP of the league this year if he keeps playing the way he's playing. And then they just have great players that surround them that are really good with role definition and understand who they are and what they are. And they have some very veteran guys that have been down this road. So offensively, they just put a lot of pressure on you. They really attack the paint. They live in the paint. They make great decisions. They get fouled. When they get 2 feet in the paint, they have great decision-making. Do I score it? Do I kick it out? And they just play very, very selfless. They're very unselfish as a team, and they're always going to compete on the defensive end. So they have great versatility. And then I just think they're gaining their stride. Like, I just feel like they're playing their best basketball of the year right now, and I don't think you can understate that. So we're gonna have to be on point with what we're doing, and we're really gonna have to be connected on both ends of the floor. You don't ever have to play perfect, but we're gonna have to play with a great spirit if we're gonna find a way to win this game.
Jake ended up playing some good, really hard minutes for you in that Washington game. Do you kind of envision him getting some more playing time going forward after that? Yeah, I think
Jake's a good player. Jake's going to be a very good player. He's a true freshman. Obviously, has had hasn't had consistent minutes by any stretch, but he is a legit 6'9.5", 6'10". He's just very different than what we have at this moment. on our roster, and without Will playing this year, and with Raleigh being out, like he just brings a different element to the table for our team. He always comes to practice ready to go, ready to compete. I think he's got a very high IQ for the game, and so there's going to be some growing pains there when you're a true freshman, and you know we had such a hard schedule early on, and obviously the depth of our team, it was hard for him to kind of get those minutes, and but he's earned them, and he's one thing with Jake is you always know what you're going to get. He's always going to compete hard. He's going to play hard. He's going to play the game selflessly. He's going to do his job to the very best of his ability. So obviously he's got to keep proving it every day. Practice matters to us as a coaching staff, certainly to me as a head coach. And he's strung some good practices here together, and that's why he earned his way on the floor. I thought he played really, really well against Washington. I mean, he certainly wasn't perfect, but he did a lot of good things for this team that we haven't consistently gotten. And so I would anticipate his minutes certainly going up, and he's going to get great opportunities on the floor to help us win.